Welcome back, everybody, to Who Really Won the Wrestling War. We have made it to November 1989, fan guy. We're coming off of,
Been a long road, but we're here.
it has been a long ride. And WCW is up by 8 points going into this month. They could win the year with a win tonight. I don't know about you, though. This was by far my closest rating together for both of them, to be honest.
Not for me. I had to look back at my scores, but I don't know. Oh, wow. Wow. I started the WWE high on the year. Okay. So it's not my highest rating I've given one of the companies, but somebody did crack 8 for me this week.
Ooh, interesting.
So yeah, and I thought I have a full point differential between my winner and my loser. So
Looks like you're going to be deciding the winner this month because mine's so close. So, well, we'll start with the WWF. For me, both companies were a mixed bag this month, but we got to see more of the WWF because of, thankfully, a lot of TV we got to watch this month. And there was some good stuff on the TV for the WWF, in my opinion.
Yeah, there was. I agree 100%. I feel like there were less squash matches. Well, I mean, okay, now I get we're just watching the highlights. So there were squash matches in there, but I feel like there were more matches that weren't squash matches in general over this month than any month from either company in this month from WWF. And I appreciated that. I appreciated getting matches between a lot of mid-card guys that I really don't, I mean, I kind of know who's going to win most of the time because you know who they're trying to push for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But you don't know who's going to win, and so I like it.
Yeah, I like that there was like a lot of matches that just meant something, I guess. That's just way better than the squash matches for sure. I agree. We'll start with the big tag match. Demolition wins the tag titles back against the Brainbusters. That's because as we go along for this month, we'll find out that the Brainbusters are probably on the way out. But thoughts on Demolition winning back the tag titles already?
That's the only sense I can make of it. It feels like they just came to the WWF, but it does feel like they're on their way out based on what we've just seen. It was cool. I mean, it was interesting again to get this match on TV, not even a pay-per-view or crazy card or anything. This was just a TV match.
Yeah.
I appreciated the match. I mean, the match itself wasn't great, I didn't think, but it wasn't bad. I mean, I was just excited. I was excited to see that match before I even got to the pay-per-view or to the Saturday night's main event. So I mean, it might have like charged me up a little, made me a little more excited about this match than it actually turned out to be. But I dug it. I mean, I dug it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too, just because, I mean, we're not used to getting this on TV shows from these companies. I mean, my only complaint is it's Demolition, and I don't really have many positive things about Demolition, but
Or a 6-minute title match. I'm not crazy about that either. I have that written 6-minute title match. So no respect for Arn and Tully.
then we had another significant and a great match, in my opinion, was Mr. Perfect versus Bret Hart, another TV match that just worked well. I loved it, honestly.
Yeah, Kurt Hennig and Bret Hart. I mean, how can you not? Like, come on, let's go. It says it all. The two names say it all.
Yeah, and I feel like they both played their roles in this match well. Perfect gets the cheating win. I don't know if Bret Hart is still undefeated at this point. We never really got that. I mean, at the beginning of the year, he was undefeated in singles. Didn't really hear that much about that after that, but still a big win for Mr. Perfect, which he needs right now since he's getting the push of the hill.
Yeah, I feel like they're pushing both these guys, which is why like Neidhart ended up on a Survivor Series team where Bret didn't.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're definitely starting to steer Bret towards his solo career at this point. It's like the very beginning of it. So I think they're pushing both these guys, but this was a long match. This was a good match that I think was good for both of them because it let Hart look good, even taking the loss.
I agree. It did what it needed to do. And yeah, I did find it odd that they had Bret Hart and Neidhart on separate teams, so they are clearly separating them subtly, I guess. But
yeah,
Even though Neidhart was on the better team, in my opinion.
He was. He was.
Let's see what else happened this month.
Bret Hart with the 2x4 or the 4x4 just doesn't look right. It
doesn't. It didn't work. Especially since it's all about USA. USA, and here's the Canadian going around. I can't read my goddamn handwriting. Oh, okay. This is when we had, speaking of Canada, the Canadian Earthquake debuts. As a fan, he's going to sit on Dino Bravo to do push-ups. And then he attacks the Warrior when the Warrior tries to do it. Thoughts on this?
It was a fun way to introduce him. You know, they don't do stuff like that anymore because, you know, reality and wrestling has gotten a lot more convoluted. So they don't, you know, it was fun. I enjoy watching them do just fun stuff like this. You know, oh, this guy's gonna come out of the audience, and you know, so yeah, it worked. I mean, it was fine.
Yeah, it was a fun way to debut him. I liked it.
Yeah, I did too.
I never realized he was called the Canadian Earthquake at first, though.
Me either. I don't think it lasts for long.
It must not. We had another match. This one wasn't quite as significant as the other ones, but any thoughts on Bossman versus Tito Santana?
It was just, you know, a funny little way for Dusty to get involved, I think, with this win, because it was like the heels pull out a foreign object and use it, and then Dusty pulls his everyday man thing, gets in, uses a foreign object on the heels. You know, dirty win for the faces. I always enjoy watching dirty wins for the faces.
Yeah, I enjoy how that was booked. That was a very nice booked finish, in my opinion. Martel debuted the model gimmick. We've been talking about it for a long time now.
Yeah, about time. And it's gonna work for him. He plays it pretty well with his little hopping on his toes thing. He's doing that even pre-model, so like it just works, man.
I did have to laugh at some of the 80s fashion though he was trying to pull off.
Oh yeah, that's my era, Nick.
Did you have a long coat like that at one time?
Oh no, I was a little too young, but I would have. I was a little kid looking at all the grown-ups with that wanting one was like that.
Did you have any other notes on these TV episodes? We saw Hakeem got injured.
Yeah, I mean, not really. Just a lot of non-squash matches. You know, you had Savage versus Hercules. You had Perfect over Bushwhacker Luke. Warrior over Tully. DiBiase versus Smash. Mr. Perfect versus Tito, which I think that's the big one for me. Was that they're continuing Mr. Perfect's, because I mean he had the match versus Hart and a match versus Tito, so they're giving him wins over clear mid-card guys now. Tito was the U.S. champion or Intercontinental champion not long ago, so Mr. Perfect is on a rocket ship.
Yeah, I do like that they are pushing him that way, since he's looks like Hogan's next bump in the road. We'll call him. Yeah, I just feel like they did this up to WrestleMania too. I feel like they were actually having good TV shows before WrestleMania, and now before Survivor Series. It makes it feel like Survivor Series is their second biggest show and not SummerSlam to me.
Yeah, I always enjoyed Survivor Series. Is literally, other than like maybe the Royal Rumble, was like the funnest. I remember as a kid was just the funnest event of the year because it was just so many mixed tag matches of eliminations, so just a lot of finishes in one match. So I've always loved the Survivor Series, and I mean I thought this one went better than I thought it would looking at it on paper for me. Like it was more enjoyable overall than I thought it was going to be looking at the matches on paper.
Yeah, for me it was it's what kept me from giving WWF too big of a bump this month was Survivor Series, but we could break it down. Let's see. The first match was the Enforcers versus the Dream Team, Boss Man, Bad News Martel, Honky Tonk versus Dusty, Brutus, Tito Santana, and the Red Rooster. I mean, I actually did enjoy the build to this match, but the match itself, I don't know. It was fun, I guess.
Okay, like no, I'll preface my Survivor Series compliment I just gave it by, or I'll suffice it by saying that I mean there was only one of these matches that I really liked the match, but there were little things I liked. Like for this match, it was just like the bad news angle. Like I just thought it was fun. Fun's the right word. It's the exact word you use. It's fun. It's like, oh, bad news is such a lone wolf. He gets hit by one of his teammates, and he's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, that kind of stuff was rarer than it is today, where it's obvious when something like that, you know. So I thought it was a fun match. I didn't love the match, but
Yeah, Dusty and Brutus were the sole survivors, and then Bossman gets some revenge on them after the match with his nightstick, handcuffing Dusty to the ropes, beating on him with the nightstick. So that worked for me too, because I did like that they kept that feud going even after the match.
yeah, I agree. Those two are gonna have to meet in singles competition. This isn't a feud that's gonna be. I don't know that any of these feuds are gonna be settled.
True.
In these matches.
Let's see. Next was King's Court, Savage, the Canadian Earthquake, Dino Bravo, and Greg Valentine versus Duggan, Bret Hart, Hercules, and Ronnie Garvin.
So I'm about to shock you. I'm actually about to shock you with this one. This was my favorite match on this card. I don't know why. It's inexplicable. This was the elimination match I enjoyed the most. That's all I have written about it. Was this match made me smile.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the only guy who lost on the heel team was Valentine. Everyone else was still in the match. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I like Savage a lot. I guess.
You must be enjoying the Hills in this match.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess I'm not really big. I don't really care for many people involved in this match. So that's why it surprised me that whenever I watched it, I might have just been really high. I don't know. But like it cracks me up that like this was the most positive note I had on this whole card was I like this match.
That is pretty funny. I mean, it was an okay match. It was kind of more like the first for me. I mean, that's kind of how most of the matches were for me, but there was something in this match I did like. I can't find it in my notes. I mean, I guess I liked the whole. I don't know, because we've seen so much of it that like at least they're doing something with Ronnie Garvin after all the bullshit we've had to watch.
They're trying.
Yeah.
They're trying.
But yeah, the Hills all win except for Valentine, like you said.
And there was a little fun moment where Savage was the reason. Like that was the only elimination off of his team. He's like, "Oh, sorry, like yeah, my bad." So, but yeah, I don't know, just dug it. This is a fun match for me.
I will also say it is good for Savage. I feel like after kind of getting buried at WrestleMania, he's had to build himself back up.
And he has. And the further he can stay away from Hulk Hogan for the longer, the more his stock will continue to rise. Stay away from Hogan and your stock will go
up. Well, speaking of Hogan, this next match was my least favorite match. The $1 Million Team, DiBiase, Powers of Pain, and Zeus versus the Hulkamaniacs, Hogan, Demolition, and Roberts.
Also my least favorite.
Yeah, I mean, he'll just keep getting disqualified.
That's exactly what I didn't like. Like
yeah,
you're trying to like do something with Zeus or whatever, and he's just gonna get DQ'd for holding a choke too long. Nobody ever gets DQ'd for that. No one ever gets DQ'd for that. And that's in like 80% of matches that involve, a big heel. So I hated it. And then I hated it.
I hated it too. I think this is the match that left the bad taste in my mouth on the event overall, because then it's like, I don't know. Of course, Hogan is the sole survivor. Because why?
Like, I'd have bet my life savings on that going into
yeah, that would have been the bet to make. I just don't understand why they have to book Hogan that way constantly.
Yeah, yeah. And then not even let his team get any of the other falls or anything, just DQ'd. Like, come on. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. I don't want to jump ahead, but Hogan did have a booking moment later this month that I loved.
Oh, it
So
was so surprising. Yeah, that was Hogan's best match of the year.
I agree. Didn't mean to jump the gun on that, but yeah, this is classic Hogan booking in this match.
It was. That was just a poorly booked match overall. And it's WWF usually books their matches pretty well for the most part, but not Hogan. Hogan's never booked well, in my opinion.
No, he'll take on the Twin Towers by himself after. Yeah, you know.
Let's see what was next. Next we had Rude's Brood, Rick Rude, Perfect, Rougeau Brothers, Roddy's Rowdies, Piper, Snuka, Bushwhackers. One of the other things they were playing up over this event was Heenan family having problems.
Yes. This match was it was okay for me. It was weird because I hated the DQs in the previous match, but on this match, the double count out between Rude and Piper for me was perfect because it sets them up to have a singles match at the next event. So I was okay with that, and I thought that was good booking. Again, if Hogan isn't involved, it seems to be pretty good booking. And then obviously you keep Perfect super strong.
Yeah.
So I just thought this was a well-booked match, but the match itself was, I mean, it was okay. Probably my second favorite match, actually.
Yeah, I think it's because my expectations were so low for this match that it was better than I expected. Especially, I just didn't expect the faces to do as well as they did. Because I shouldn't feel that way because they pushed the Bushwhackers. I don't know why they do, but still.
Yeah, they were undefeated for a while.
Yeah. But yes, I did like that Perfect was the sole survivor. Next, we had the main event. Heenan family was Andre, Haku, Art Anderson, and Heenan himself, which I'll get to. And then we have the Ultimate Warriors, Warrior, the Rockers, and Jim Neidhart. Now, allegedly, totally failed a drug test, which is why he was not a part of this team.
Oh.
Cocaine was the problem.
Yeah, Tully spent that night with Rick James, hanging out with Rick James. Yeah, I did not know why, because I was very surprised whenever, and so I mean, it worked. I mean, I always, I'm cool with seeing Heenan in there, but the fact that Heenan was in there and what goes down with the Giant with Andre in this match, how he's just gone before it really even starts, it took a lot of the a lot of the shine off the match because it was a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I agree. And as much as I love Heenan, I didn't like that he was able to just beat Jannetty with a generic knee to the face. So there were some booking problems in this match too, but
yeah, they're Barry and Marty. They're getting ready to get split. So they're like, all right, Marty, you're gonna go out there tonight. You're gonna lose clean to Bobby. He's gonna knee you in the face. You're gonna take the 3 count. What?
But Warrior is the sole survivor.
No surprises here for me.
Yeah.
Once Andre was out, I was like, okay. And I didn't like how he was out really before the match even started. I thought that was not good.
Me either. So none of these matches to me were that good, but there were some fun ones. I can agree with you on that.
That might be why I like the King's Court versus the 4x4s, was because I really didn't like any of the other matches that much, and at least that one I felt like had a good pace to it.
Yeah, I am glad we got to see Saturday night's main event. That helped me not feel too bad about the WWF for this month because I love the TV this month for WWF. And then I was like, the Survivor Series, not a big fan. But Saturday night's main event had a couple of gems that I enjoyed.
Oh yeah. It was yeah, it was for the first time all year. WWF's TV outshined their pay per view by a lot. I will 100% agree with that.
Well, we will start with Warrior versus Andre.
All I have written is here. I didn't even see the DQ. Like they just DQ out of nowhere. I didn't like this match. I put Warrior wins terrible match. Like this is not good for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of hoping Warrior would just have a bigger win than a DQ, honestly, because clearly Andre's at the end of his career.
Yes.
So like, yeah, I just wanted Warrior to have the bigger win because he's clearly getting the push. So
yeah, give him a clean win.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Next, we had the gem, as we talked about, the Genius versus Hogan.
I would spend the next 36 minutes going on about this match if I could. So I'm just gonna say I loved everything about this match. I even loved Hogan in this match.
Me too.
Some of his antics I was so okay with. I loved everything about this match. I loved.
Yeah, Hogan needs more matches like this where he could just actually be enjoyable and not super booked.
Yeah, he was fun. He was charming. It was funny. His imitating. It was good, man. I freaking love this match.
Yeah, it was campy, but the Genius was hilarious in this match. I really love that he was stretching before the match with a hilarious way.
Oh, he was. Yeah, this was a gem. Good word. This is a true gem of a match. Yeah, man. I love this match. Even Perfect got involved, which continues that rivalry.
So yeah, basically Genius is spending the match trying to avoid Hogan or just celebrating too much, doing cartwheels. Hogan's mocking him during the match as well, which makes it even funnier. And then to top it all off, the Genius beats Hogan, even though it's by a count out, but the Genius beats Hulk Hogan.
So win.
Yes. It is thanks to Perfect hitting Hogan and taking the belt with him.
I don't want to be wrong and say this, but this is the first time we've seen Hogan lose this year.
You're probably right. I can't think of the other time.
This is the first time we've seen Hogan lose this year. And who was it to? The Genius in a match I didn't even remember. I did not even remember this match took place.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a squash for Hogan. I thought Perfect was just going to be watching, getting all mad as his boy got squashed. And then when they booked it like this, I was just so excited.
Me too. Yeah. So this was great. And it's just like, it shows that ring psychology can just be fun and important at the same way without flipping and flying all the time.
Right. And that you don't have to put on a 5-star match to be 5-star enjoyable.
No.
Like, you know, just have some fun. It's supposed to be fun. That's what it's it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, so the surprise win also added to the greatness of this gem. Next, we had the showdown between Dusty Rhodes and the Big Boss Man. We also have Sapphire, who's been in the audience during this month, who distracted Slick during this match. Slick was going to interfere. She distracts him, giving Dusty the win.
Yeah, it was a weird. That's how I put it. It was a weird finish for this match. I would have liked a more definitive finish between these two, especially if this is going to end the feud. If they're going to continue the feud, then I actually am like this finish. So this finish is really wishy-washy for me, depending on if they continue the feud with Sapphire in the mix now, or if they just start something else with him. So I'm hoping they continue this feud, as weird as it sounds, because this finish was weird, but it was fun. It was fun, you know. It was a fun match.
Yeah, it was another fun match. I agree. Nothing spectacular, but still good enough for me.
These, Boss Man's not known for great matches.
No. Lastly, that we got to see was Brainbusters versus the Rockers. We finally get this match again after they fucked up the feud earlier in the year. This was a best of 3 falls match between the Rockers and Brainbusters, with Rockers eventually getting 2 out of the 3 falls.
Brainbusters are on their way out. That's it, you know.
Yeah, Tully especially, since he had that drug test, so he will be gone before Arn, but I assume Arn's not going to be around longer either.
Yeah, they left the Brain, so there's nowhere really for Arn to go except for back to WCW.
Yes, I do think we'll be seeing Arn back in WCW sooner than later. Totally, I don't know. I think he has some issues at this point in his life, but that was WWF for this month. Survivor Series, lackluster for me, but I did enjoy Saturday Night's main event.
I agree. Saturday Night's main event was awesome, and there was a match even on there was some of their TV matches were pretty.
Agree.
I'm behind what they're doing right now.
Now I scored them pretty low last time. I wanted to go up more than a full point, but didn't quite go up a full point. But I gave them a 7.0.
Well, so then the decider is going to be you, because I'm going to be giving away my higher score right here.
Yeah.
As I gave them an 8. I gave them an 8 this month. It had nothing to do with Survivor Series.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, the TV was good.
It had nothing to do with Survivor Series. I just love so many of their non-Survivor Series matches.
That's fair enough to me. That gives them a 7.5 for the month. I mean, I still think it's going to depend on your WCW score, so it's going to be close, maybe. While we will move on to WCW, which I feel was the opposite of the WWF, where their TV was a bunch of squash matches, but I enjoyed Clash of Champions, so that's where it's.
I agree. I agree with that assessment. And it might have even led to my ratings difference this month, was the fact that I really appreciated WWF's TV. Like, I really appreciated it. And I really didn't like WCW's TV at all. I don't think I've had so few notes written.
Yeah, it's true. Me too.
Over them, where we have more footage. So I hated their TV. I hated it.
Yeah, my only note for the November 4th show is the whole teddy bear angle with Norman and Teddy Long trying to keep him away from the teddy bears.
Yeah. They're still making Norman a pretty big joke here.
Yeah.
It's a face turn joke, so at least it's that. Yeah.
Yeah. That also continued in the next episode.
Yeah, it did. Norman continues face turn.
Yes, because Dr. Death brings him a huge teddy bear and Norman won't give it to Teddy Long.
Dr. Death is that dude. I've said this a few times. He's like, I don't understand why they're booking him the way they're booking him, because they're booking him pretty strong. I mean, not necessarily his wins and losses lately, but even that's been okay. But they're booking him strong. They're booking him in big spots. So they're clearly really high on this guy. And he, for me, is like I said, he's the equivalent of WWF's like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. His moveset is just super limited. He's like a less personable Hacksaw. So I just don't get the whole why they're so.
It's Jim Ross that always loved Steve Williams. So, and Jim Ross is on the booking committee. So
Oklahoma boys, that does it all. That makes there you go. It's mystery solved, Nick.
Yep. The big thing on this event, we did get a Sid versus Dr. Death match, but your boy Dan Spivey ends the match in a DQ.
I mean, I was fine with it, but the match sucked, so I didn't really care about the finish, because I was just like, I don't even like this match. So, I mean, it's good finish, I guess, if you're trying to keep Williams strong and let the Skyscrapers continue their, we could beat up anybody thing.
That were basically my notes from this. I mean, we had Funk. He has a show, Funk's Grill. Flair was on it.
Um, the only other note I have is how bad Woman is at promos.
Yeah, she definitely isn't the best at promos. She just doesn't have the. It's not even her speaking ability. It's like her charisma, maybe, or like she's just not a. I don't know how to explain it.
No, that's exactly what it is. I think you just articulated it well because she speaks well. She does. She speaks clearly. She's articulate, but she has no charisma. She doesn't. Her delivery just sucks. Like,
Yeah, it would be like me fucking doing a promo.
you do better than Woman, Nick.
I don't know.
You do better than Woman.
Yeah, that was about it for the TV shows before Clash of Champions.
Yeah. Almost all of my notes on this month for WCW is the Clash because I don't even have much on the shows after.
Me too, I agree.
Like,
Well, we will get to Clash of Champions 9, starting with Freebirds and Road Warriors. And not the best start because I didn't really like the booking. I didn't like the booking.
you said it. I agree.
There's just a dumb DQ for against the Road Warriors.
Very dumb DQ. I did not like the finish to this match at all. You could have had a dirty finish. You could have had so many different ways you could have gone with this. There's so many stupid DQs this month in both companies.
Yeah. And I just feel like they've ran out of ideas for the Road Warriors. I feel like they have no idea what to do with the Road Warriors.
That's a very good take. I think they've just been so dominant for so long in this company, and they've run through pretty much the whole division. Even the best teams, when they go up against them, they're supposed to be booked as pretty big underdogs, like everyone against them. So LOD, maybe Doom is next for them because Doom's getting really strong. But I agree, man. They're running out. Like the Road Warriors gimmick is just almost played out.
I agree. Next, we had, Sting was voted most popular wrestler of the year. Are you surprised?
No. Yes. I mean, I feel like Flair, but they weren't going to give Flair both awards. So the fact that, I mean, yeah, because Pillman hadn't really been around like long enough, and that's such a face award.
Yeah,
and it's got to go.
I mean, I guess Sting has been like the most prominent face this year. I mean, Ricky Steamboat, I guess, but he hasn't been around.
That's the problem. Sting's been there the whole time, and even when they like don't have anything for him to do, and he's like tagging up with Eddie Gilbert against people, they still kept him in the mix.
Yeah.
So, and then yes, he's had a good TV title run so far. So.
And then Flair was the wrestler of the decade, wrestler of the 80s.
That makes sense. I won't argue with that.
Well, up next, we had basically a squash match for Doom to keep putting Doom over against Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert. I mean, it was what it was. Doom's just trying to get established, really.
And they're doing kind of with what they did with what they're doing with Perfect across the way. Yeah. They're booking them against slightly better people so that they seem like more credible threats to the Road Warriors. Oh, how the mighty have fallen with Gilbert and Rich, though.
Yeah, hey, that's true. Especially Gilbert. He started this year off hot, and it's been now downhill since then.
And he's been booking himself like this too. So,
which I mean, I appreciate. At least he's not trying to overbook himself into being this big dude.
Yeah, it surprises me that he's booking himself that way. So
Next, we had the match that could have been so much better if they were listening to your booking last week. But I guess it was still okay. But Midnight Express versus the Dynamic Dudes.
The way this match was booked, it had to be in the works for the dudes to win the titles before. It had to at least been strongly considered before maybe a last-minute change that kept them from winning. Because this match went exactly how I thought it should go, except the titles weren't on the line.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have probably looked it up, but I didn't want to spoil myself or anything. But you have to be right because since there's no tag titles on the line, Cornette's whole reason for doing this makes no sense.
It feels like that they were supposed to beat the Freebirds. The dudes were supposed to beat the Freebirds for the titles last month, and it had to be like somewhat of a last minute decision where they're like, we can't put the titles on these guys. Like our tag division is so stacked, we can't put the titles on these guys. Like even for 2 weeks. That's the only thing I could think.
I guess I still think they should have just went with it because it would have made this match way better than it turned out to be. I mean, it was okay match, but the meaning behind it is too convoluted and dumb.
Could not agree more. I mean, even the Miz has his 1-2 day title reigns. It's okay. It's okay to do that. It keeps things fresh and interesting, even for the
Maybe back then it wasn't so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Too prestigious for the dynamic dudes.
it's probably more of a Monday Night Wars thing than when that started happening.
Yeah.
Well, the next match, Dr. Death, a squash over Super Destroyer.
I didn't even write this down. Oh, was there that match?
Then we get Steiners versus Skyscrapers.
The match was fine. The match was okay. I didn't like the DQ finish.
Yeah, the finishes are annoying. I agree.
Like let Doom come out, interfere, cost the Steiners the match. Something like that. Just it could just be I'm burnt out on DQs at this point. But I just did not once again. No, give me a finish.
Yeah, I feel you. I did enjoy the brawl after the match with all the tag teams and Woman having some big bodyguard dude. I don't know. U.S. title, Luger versus Brian Pillman. Not as good as their last match, but it was still a good match.
Well said. I took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, Luger wins again. The ref got knocked out, which helped Luger hit Pillman with a chair. So at least Pillman lost this time via the chair shot.
Yeah, and they're keeping Pillman strong here. I mean, they're clearly booking it to where they have long-term plans for Brian Pillman at this point, which is why they had him like laying over Luger, clearly getting a 3 count while the ref's down. So it's so weird. Both companies have like good booking and bad booking all just mixed together. I thought this match was booked well. I think it was too early for Pillman to win the U.S. title. So
yeah, especially since Luger's gotten so hot as a heel right now.
Exactly. And the match was exactly what you said. Just kind of a toned down version of their last match. Wasn't bad, but it just wasn't great.
After the match, though, we get Luger still beating on Pillman with Sting making the save, teasing that possible upcoming match, I guess.
Definitely. That's happening. It's about to happen. But correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Sting the TV title holder? Okay.
Yeah.
So in my brain, they'd have to book him to lose that in the near future. Maybe to Muda.
Yeah, that's true. But I do like it because they were the whole friends angle. I mean, I feel like they've done this angle a lot of times in their career between Luger and Sting, but
Sting's gotten what he needed from that TV title at this point. He doesn't need it anymore. So I think moving up to that, even just the upper mid card scene is a good move for him. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sting drop that title in the near future because this is definitely happening.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, then whoever booked the dudes not to win the titles is like, like if they let them two look at each other like that and get all into the beef, and then not follow through with it.
Yeah. Maybe it's Eddie Gilbert. Maybe he's so angry that he's not getting just trying to take down everybody else. Main event, I Quit match, Flair versus Funk. This was definitely the culmination of their the blood feud they've been having for most of the year, really. It started with Flair and Steamboat for a good couple of months, and then it's been Flair and Funk ever since.
Yeah, this was I watched this last month, thinking it was last month, and then
Oh,
I
okay.
rewatched it again this month. I like this match. Neither of these guys are Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect when it comes to technical wrestling. Well, Flair,
Yeah, Flair can
arguably
be.
could be, but
Yeah,
they made the most out of what they had to work with Funk in this match. It was really a gritty, hard hitting sort of match.
it was. Funk was getting brutal for a while, which worked for the
Oh,
match.
100%. So I dug this match. This was my favorite match on this card. Um, I was kind of surprised to see Funk quit. If I'm being honest, that doesn't really go with his booking.
Yeah, but I think it's the ending the story needs, honestly, because Funk's been this whole angry asshole, and he's just been brutalized and brutalizing Flair, and then he quits for a figure four, which is like it really like cements Flair's move at least.
No, you're right. You're right. If this is where the story ends, then it's really the only ending that they could have had to the story.
After the match, though, we get Luger and Muda attacking Flair, Sting trying to make the save, but not quite being able to do so.
Yeah. I think this is setting up a Four Horsemen thing with Arn probably coming back over. So yeah, I mean, it at least continued the story after the match. Like, it gave them next chapters to go to. So I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree. That's true. We also have seen Ole Anderson recently too, so that makes sense. And it makes more sense why he would be in Flair and Sting's corner.
Yep. And then rather turning, just do a whole heel turn at once, like both of them.
Well, that was Clash. I mean, I enjoyed the show. There was some duds in this event, but still think it could have had better booking would have made it a better show.
I agree, because there were some good matches on here. There were some pretty okay matches. Just some unfortunate booking. Yeah. But a good show. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this show.
Yeah, me too. And the main event was a good match because it definitely, I think it did what it needed to do for the feud. And it was, I enjoyed how Funk was brutalizing Flair for most of the match, but then loses to a figure four.
Yeah, it told a good story. The match told a good story and really did showcase both these guys to their strengths, played to their strengths well.
Well, we had two more TV shows, still nothing to write home about. Well, there was one big match, I guess, but let's see my notes. We had Kevin Sullivan saying he's woman's too devious. He's not going to get caught in that crossfire, allegedly.
Yeah, not true.
No, I don't think so.
Survey says.
The tag titles, though, we had Steiners, Freebirds. I don't understand why Steiners were the number one contenders, but Steiners beat Freebirds to become the new tag team champions.
I agree. I don't really understand how they justify making this. I guess because they won over by disqualification over the Skyscrapers. So
I guess.
I think the Freebirds are just wanting a break. That's all I could think, is they just kind of want to take some time off. And so, it's fine. It gives the Steiners Doom matchup a little more clout.
Yeah, it's true. And also the Freebirds, they've had a good run, a good late in their career tag run, especially since it's not even the original Freebirds.
Yeah, especially since they were booked to lose to the Dynamic Dudes a few weeks before
Yeah.
last minute's change of plans. So yeah, I'm sure they were happy about losing to the Steiners too.
Yeah, that's true. I guess someone thought the Steiners were the better option here.
That's exactly what happened.
Because also we have the Hill Midnight Express now too with Cornette.
Yeah, I love that segment. I had hardly nothing written about the 18th show other than the title match. But the 25th, only two things I've written are about the main event. Flair, Muta, and Midnight Express refuses to wrestle the Jobbers and gives them the win, and then proceeds to beat them down. Like they tell the ref just to count them out. They're not even worried about wrestling these guys. So the ref proceeds to count. They lose the match. They go over to shake their hands and congratulate them on the biggest win of their career, and then they beat them down. So I loved it. I loved what they did with these guys.
I agree. That was good heel tactics there. My only other note, other than the main event, is do you have any thoughts on Buzz Sawyer?
No, I don't care about him at all.
I don't care either. Gary Hart stable needs work in general.
Yeah, he reminds me of Dan Spivey, and we know how I feel about Dan Spivey.
That's not good. Well, we did have the Flair Muta main event.
This is my least favorite Flair match of the year so far. This match was just super slow for me.
It was all rest holds.
Yeah, this is the worst Ric Flair match I think I've ever seen in my life. Like, I hated this match.
Yeah, I agree. It was just boring, and Flair by DQ because Gary Hart interferes. Yeah. TV this week or this month for WCW was a dud all around.
Even when they try to put a match like this on TV, if they book it like that, like, come on.
Yeah, the only thing they gave us was that tag title match.
That's it. I agree. That was the highlight of the month from WCW from a TV standpoint.
So yeah, I went down on WCW. Not a whole lot because I did enjoy Clash, but enough to a 6.8.
When I scored them, I didn't even realize that I gave them the exact same score I gave them last month, which was a 7 even. And I'm okay with that. Because I thought it was a similar product. I just thought the WWF really stepped up this past month, particularly with their TV work.
I agree, and that gives the WWF the win for November. So WCW does not get the win for the year that they could have clinched here. We might have a draw in 1989.
I didn't look at the upcoming shows for next month. It could come down to who has a pay-per-view.
I think it comes down to TV, I'm pretty sure, but I'll have to look and see.
Wow, that would be such a fitting end to the year if that's Starrcade not then.
Oh, Starrcade, yeah. So Starrcade.
That's gonna make it hard on WWF. They better have Saturday night's main event. If they can replicate what they did the prior month, they got a shot against the Starrcade. I think. I legitimately feel that way.
I agree. Because they haven't really built anything for Starrcade. Everything's kind of ended.
Yeah, exactly. And WWF put on a great TV product this month. So could be very close depending on how Starrcade goes.
Well, I am interested to see how this year turns out.
Very much so.
All right, we'll get to top threes. Tag team, I decided to put the Rockers at number 3 since they had a big win over the Brainbusters, even though Jannetty got pinned by fucking Heenan at the Survivor Series.
Yeah, I went with Demolition. They won the titles.
I mean, it makes sense. They are the tag champions. I just don't like them.
I don't like them either. I don't like them either.
I decided to put Doom at number 2 since they're getting the big push right now for WCW.
That is also my number 2.
And I put Steiner's at number 1 since they won the tag titles.
I also have them at number 1 since they won the tag titles in the company that has a much more deeper and more established tag team division.
This is a great tag division. Like,
they don't know what to do with themselves. That's why they're like, we can't give the titles to the dynamic dudes. We can't. Look at our tag division. This doesn't work. Somebody was the voice of reason, or that was what they were trying to say.
It is true, though, because they are stacked in tag teams. Like after this period, I don't think we're gonna get a good tag division for a while. So I don't want this tag run to end for WCW anytime soon.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
We'll go to matches next. I mean, it probably should be higher, honestly, but I put Hogan and Genius at number 3.
I put Mr. Perfect Bret Hart at number 3.
That is my number 2.
I have Flair and Funk at number 2.
That is my number 1.
Well, we've just switched our order because my number 1 match with a fucking bullet is the Genius versus Hulk Hogan. I have not smiled more at a wrestling match possibly since we started this podcast.
I mean, I feel it. I could feel it. I probably should have put it higher. It was just entertainment.
It wasn't much of a match.
It was entertainment, though. Is what it was.
Yeah, it was. I've rated on pure entertainment this month, and it'll carry over to my other scores on these other categories too.
I dig it. Let's see. Feuds next. I didn't know what to put at number 3, honestly. I ended up putting Dusty and Boss Man.
I put up Pillman and Luger because it just feels like, I mean, I don't know if they're continuing it, but it's been, I don't know, one of the only things.
Yeah, it's been one of WCW's only best feuds the last couple of months. I put Perfect and Hogan at 2.
I also have Perfect and Hogan at 2.
And even though I'm pretty sure it ended this month, I put Flair and Funk at 1.
I probably should have gone that way. I went completely in another direction. I put the Steiners and Doom at number 1.
I mean, it's appreciation for the tag division.
Yeah, and it feels like they've been pushing Doom to the moon, and Steiners just won the title. So, yeah, you know, and they're feuding pretty hard.
Well, we will get to superstars. I put Warrior at number 3, even though his botched match with Andre, he's getting the push, so I put him at number 3.
That kept me from, I'm not even bullshit you. That kept me from putting him on my list. I just did not like that match. I went with Luger. He still is continuing to give good work, good promos, good ring work. Not as, you know, maybe I'm getting used to it, which is why I've lowered him. But yeah, put Luger at 3.
I put Luger at number 2.
You feel it. You
I still feel it too, yes.
Yeah. I have Mr. Perfect at number 2. I just feel like they've been booking him really strong and to make a run at this Hogan.
Well, I haven't given it to him often, probably not as often as I should, but I gave number 1 to Flair this month. He won the blood feud with Funk, so.
He did. I would have, I like I said, I just scored this on pure smile factor. So obviously, my number 1 superstar of the month is the Genius because he got a win over the immortal Hulk Hogan.
I mean, he did. That's huge.
The Hulk Hogan's first loss of the year came in November to the Genius. So clearly, that man is my superstar of the month.
I mean, that's as good as reasoning as I've ever heard. Because, I mean, not a lot of people beat Hulk Hogan.
While frolicking around the ring. I love this.
Oh, that was good. It was good. Wow, that makes the score WCW 24, WWF 20. So it comes down to December of WCW with Starrcade can get a win over the WWF this year.
Yeah, WWF's really going to need to put forth some good TV if they don't have a good Saturday night's main event.
I agree. Well, Fan, got any final thoughts for this month?
Fun month. This was a fun month. I felt a lot of good energy from the WWF, and particularly could have just been Survivor Series, could have been all the great TV matches, but I just felt like they put out for me a superior product.
They did on TV, that's for sure. All right. Well, we will end it there. We'll see everybody for December next week. Peace out.